Sponsored by Motion Group, Applied Nutrition and Threshold Security proudly present this afternoon's main event. 12 rounds of boxing for the English cruiserweight title. It is also an eliminator for the British cruiserweight title. This contest is sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control. Our Indian representative ringside, Sally Say and Les Potts. Our inspectors, Matt Benety, Frank Froston, Mark Ridge and Barry Coulson. Our fleet, Scotty Jones ringside, Mark Lyson, John Latham and Steve Gray. The timekeeper at the belt of this contest will be Gary Grennan, and our referee in charge is Phil Edwards. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our officials. Manchester, if you're ready to welcome our boxers, please make some noise! Please welcome Sarah, boxing out of the blue corner. This afternoon, he wears the black shorts. He weighs in 14 stone 3 pounds and 14 ounces. His excellent professional record reads 15 wins, only 1 defeat, 1 draw, 8 big wins by way of knockout. John Sell, please welcome facing him across the ring in the red corner, the champion. This afternoon he wears the black shorts trimmed with silver. He weighs in 14 stone, 2 pounds and 4 ounces. His professional record, a perfect one. 12 wins from 12 contests. 2 wins by way of knockout. Please welcome the reigning, defending, undefeated English cruiserweight champion from London, the GOAT, Deion Jumah. And after we saw every guard with final instructions to both boxers.
Come on then, Foz, you've blackmailed me into doing this.
Right.
There's every single boxer in Joe Gallagher's stable here. There's about 5 or 6 guys that have won world titles, all sitting with their feet up, drinking pina coladas at ringside. You've managed to get me into it.
Well, not one of them wanted to do it, Steve.
Yeah, and they're moving out of the way. Listen, at least Deion Jumah's brought some crowd. I was a bit worried then. He had no reception at first. Good fight this, Foz. Really good technical fight, hard fight, classic fight, British fight, English title fight. It's a good domestic dust-up, mate.
It is, and the winner will go on to fight Richard Riakporhe for that British title.
That's inferior to plan, but there's no such thing as simple plans in boxing. What looks like a simple A to B doesn't work out the way. You've got to stop at D and X and Y first. It's just the way it works. But when this fight was announced, get your cards out on the table. Who did you fancy, Foz, when it was announced?
When it was announced, I looked at it, Steve, and I thought, obviously Deion was champion. He's unbeaten. It was difficult to look past him.
But what is it, 16 or so fights in something like 7 years? It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I know he had a bit of a break, but it's been such a stop-start career.
Very, very, very stagnant. Very stagnant. And Sam, on the back of that unfortunate Richard Riakporhe defeat, has come back. Got a couple of good wins.
But you know, you look at that distance fight, a distance defeat. You look at a defeat like that, and that really is, that's a better loss and a better use of rounds than just about everything that Jumah's done, to be perfectly honest with you.
I mean, Sam's 50-1-1 now, Steve.
Yeah. He's in what, about 4 years as opposed to 7 years? I mean,
4 or 5 years, yeah.
If Jumah was in his 3rd or 4th year now, then he'd have momentum on his side. He hasn't got the momentum on his side. He has to keep on finding the momentum every time he finishes a fight. His average, it's just too long. I mean, I know he actually had a break at one point. Several different trainers, several different promoters.
Obviously, Sam, since that defeat to Riakporhe was.
Were you ringside for that?
I was, yeah.
What was your gut feeling on the night? You thought he'd done enough?
I thought he'd done enough. It was just obviously the eye injury that was the big issue there. But he got back.
And he's now the British champion.
Yeah. He got back last April with a win at the O2 Arena, and then boxed here in September.
Now, is this 12 or 10 rounds?
It's 12 this.
Okay.
With it being a final eliminator,
they've stuck the extra 2 on.
For the British, yeah.
Yeah, you should explain that, because generally English titles are 10 rounds,
10,
doesn't
yeah.
it? But because it's the final eliminator, they can stick an extra 2 on, making it 12 rounds.
That's what they've done. It's a good scrap. Very good scrap. Good scrap on paper, and it looks like it'll turn out to be a good scrap.
Yeah, it might take a couple of rounds to get going. But then that's in both of their interests. Neither of them want to leave too much behind in the first 3 or 4 rounds, especially if we're going to get 12 or so rounds here. I know one thing, Sam's in a very hefty gym of men in and around his weight, mostly lighter than him, but they can still give him good sparring. You've got 2 of them sitting behind you, there's several over there. It's a decent gym for anybody above 12 stone.
And of course, Anthony Croller's in the corner with Joe Gallagher there.
But in all fairness, even before Anthony called it a day late last year, it's been in a corner anyway. That's part one of Joe's things, isn't it?
Yeah.
Does he pay them for being in a corner?
I've no idea.
Just give him a week free in the gym or something. What does he do?
I've no idea. What I do know is I need to start charging for this commentary gig.
Hey, listen, if you do, you can have my money as well. So you couldn't get Natasha Jonas because she's with her kids.
Yeah.
Scott Cardell was avoiding your looks.
Yeah.
Stephen Smith came back for his telephone but still wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Callum Smith's not even looking at you. Liam Smith's done around. Hosea Burton's not interested. Callum Johnson's not looking over. And Paul Butler, so he ended up with me. Cheers, son. Didn't even buy me a cup of tea. Round 2. I like this venue, by the way. It's crowded, it's compact, about 800 or so.
Yeah, it's a very good venue, Steve. This is the 3rd show they've done here, that Joe's done here. So it's I like Sunday afternoon shows as well, by the way.
I like early afternoon, Sunday afternoon shows, that's for certain.
You're wanting to be getting back on the train at 4 o'clock,
I'm on several trains and several trams at the moment, yeah. It's not the end of the world. It's got a little bit closer this round, Sam.
Is that what it could take?
I think something's going to. I think it's a fight that, unless to the first 5 or 6 rounds, if they floated like the first round, you've got no clear winner, and suddenly you're in the 6th or 7th. You've got to really put your foot down. So maybe just wants to be a bit busier, a bit earlier. Not a lot busy, just a little bit busier.
Is that sort of to establish a bit of authority?
I think it's also just to show Deion Jumah that you're not there just to make up the numbers. You know, he's doing the right thing. He's getting his left foot right on top of Jumah's right foot because Jumah's a southpaw, so he's stopping Jumah's movement a little bit. Then he's firing out a good jab. That's good. Doesn't need to take big risks. He's throwing the occasional right hand like there. We know Jumah's slicker. We know Jumah's a good fighter. He's got pedigree, both amateur and decent pro pedigree. So Sam's got to be a little bit forceful.
Deion 12-0.
12, and I thought it was 15-6. So that's 12 in 7 and a bit years.
Yeah.
Wow.
He made his debut
2013, wasn't it?
In 2013, yeah.
Now, I remember I had him on, before he made his debut, I had him on the sofa on my Box Nation show, and Barry Jones and I talked to him, and we thought it was actually going to be fast track. We thought he might have 8 or 9 in the first year, and we thought he might be at English level after 2 years. And then the variety of things happen. It's called boxing life. You know that, Foz. Doesn't work straight, mate.
It doesn't whatsoever, Steve. He had 3 in his first year, 1 in 2014.
And all overseas. How long before he fought in the UK? It was a good while, wasn't it?
Yeah, his first fight in the UK was in January 2016.
So that was about what? About his 8th fight or something like that?
Yeah. His fights before that were in Denmark, Germany,
that's right,
Norway.
Good little short right hand Sam caught him with there. I'm imagining Gary Logan in Jumah's corner would tell him to move a little bit more, not to leave himself in distance, not to leave his shots there, be a little bit more mobile.
Keep in the centre, Sam. Keep in the centre of the ring.
Yeah, someone behind us, I think it's Hosea Burton or his brother or his cousin saying keep in the centre of the ring, Sam, and that's right. Sam holds the centre of the ring with a good jab. It's a fight he can slowly leave a mark on.
So since Deion Jumah has sort of become a little bit more active, Steve, he's had 2 stoppage wins at York Hall. In fact, his past 4 have been at York Hall. all by stoppage. One he won the vacant Southern Area Cruiserweight title, and then in his last fight he won this English title with a stoppage of Waddy Camacho.
Yeah, I mean, Waddy, no disrespect to Waddy, but perhaps Waddy's best days were a little bit behind him. That doesn't take anything away from any win. You still got to get in there and beat. And if you beat a man that's a couple of years past his prime, he's always capable of having one final night, one last night, one glorious night at the box office. And Waddy on that night, that wasn't his night. And he looked good that night, Deion. He did what he had to do.
Yeah. That was back in September.
Yeah, so this got some momentum. He's got a little bit of momentum. So this fight and those last two, what are they all inside? All inside 8 months or something like that, 7 months?
Well, yeah, 10 months, because the Southern Area title win was at the back end of 2018.
Okay, yeah. So it's still only 3 fights in 13 months. It's still not enough. He's still not busy enough. But in this business we're in at the moment, people. Most people once after they've had their first couple of years think they can fight twice a year, even if they're not fighting for titles. I find it a bit amazing.
Good shot, Sam.
It's heating up a little bit this now, isn't it?
And it's got to a little bit. I think we're going to see. I think we're going to see Jumah let his hands go a little bit more in this round. There's nothing in the first 2 rounds. You might have given them to Sam. You might have split one of them. But I think Sam knows he can't let it go 5 or 6 rounds without leaving a bit of authority in the ring, throwing his jab and letting Jumah know he's there.
Do you think Deion's come with a point to prove as the champion, but also as the away fighter?
Yeah, a bit of both, really. I mean, I think that's part of Deion's problem, isn't it? In that he's here now. Was his 13th fight?
Yeah.
So his 13th fight, 7 years as a pro. He's clearly got enough of a following. He's got a coach load of people over there singing and dancing and relaxing. So, but he's not become an attraction yet. He's not become a fighter that many of us in the game are putting in fights. So we're not placing him in fights. And I don't mean fantasy fights. I'm not matching him with Roberto Duran or something stupid. But in British fights, we're not. I've done several lists. I'm sure you did over the Christmas and New Year, where you made loads of fights at different weights, and hand on heart, you didn't put Jumah in any of the cruiserweight ones, did you, mate?
Not in a single one.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's partly down to the inactivity.
Yeah, the inactivity, and he's just, he hasn't created an image and a cult yet. He hasn't created a following. Well, that's a really good sign, because initially, 5 seconds before he came into the ring, there was no one here. He had one guy ran up to the barrier. Then all those guys came in. They were outside in the getting teas and coffees and carrot and cakes. Of course, they were getting teas and coffees and cakes. Fight stepped up quite a bit of a pace here, to be perfectly honest with you.
Will Sam worry about that eye at all?
No, I think when you've suffered a sort of injury like that, when you've suffered something like that, it's like when you get a cut that goes above 5 or 6 stitches. Whenever anything like that happens, it's in the back of your mind. If you injure your shoulder, it's in the back of your mind. I don't care what fighters say, they'll always admit when they retire, yeah, the shoulder was on my mind. They never admit it during their careers. That's just the way they work. So yes, in answer to your question,
there's a little bit of swelling on that eye as well.
Already. I've seen it, yeah. In fact, there's quite a dark bruise underneath it quite early, which is a bit odd, yeah.
Could that become a concern in a couple of rounds' time?
I would imagine so. They're working on it already in the corner. Any injuries are concerned when you're only going to the 4th round of 12.
Yeah.
And you're not a regular 12-round fighter, so it's not like we don't know how your skin works. You don't know how your body holds up.
Deion looks pretty fresh in that corner.
Yeah, he does look relatively fresh. Not a lot in the fight, though, is there?
No, it's a good quality scrap.
Can't have a scream either way, can you? At the moment?
No, it's close, very close.
Yeah, Gary Logan in the corner. In fact, he lost them. I wonder if Gary Logan lost the British title fight in Wivenshaw. He might have lost to Ensley Bingham. He lost in Manchester. I'm not sure if it was in Wivenshaw. I think it was Ensley Bingham that beat him. I think it might have been Ensley Bingham. He certainly lost the British light middleweight title fight. Gary Logan, and I think it may have even been in this town we're in now. I went to the Forum, Wivenshaw Forum, when I got the tram in. I went to the Forum. Guess what there was? Ballroom dancing. That was sold out as well.
Did you think it was at the Forum?
Yeah, of course I did. No one told me, did they? I honestly have no information for today at all, mate.
Come on, Steve.
I just put one. I put one and one together. Came up with 2.5. Okay, leave me alone. I got it, didn't I? Before the first bell.
You did. With about 30 seconds to
no,
spare.
about 30 seconds to spare.
It was at the Withenshaw Forum.
There we go. Not a bad memory, is it? When was that? About 93 or something like that?
96, that was.
Oh, Stevie boy, I'm happy with that.
The 13th of April,
I'll rest on my laurels with that, son. Wowee.
I'll let you have that one. That was
Thanks, boy.
A few years ago, that. Before I was born, that, Steve.
I plucked that one out of nowhere, didn't I? I was very young as well. Don't get carried away. Oh, man, that was a good night, that.
How many years had you been ringside at that point?
12.
12.
And I'd seen Gary Logan when he was a junior, fun enough, when he boxed for Croydon before he went to the Fitzroy Lodge. So I'd known Gary a long while. And Ainsley Bingham, I'd known Ainsley Bingham since about 1952 when he was a teenager. Because he was a good age, Ainsley, wasn't he? He was 29 for about 7 years. Sam getting a bit busy. I don't think Sam needs to take too many risks, to be honest with you. I think he needs to keep the jab going, drop the right hand in when he gets a slot for it.
Like that, yeah?
Yeah, exactly.
Right on cue.
Doesn't need to overdo it. Good pressing from Sam, though, in this round.
The right hand's working wonders in this round,
shot.
Steve.
He's throwing it nice and clean, straight down the middle.
The right hand over the jab and then the body shot to take the legs away.
It's a nice idea. It's a nice thing. But when you throw body shots against Deion Jumah, he throws lots of loose, short shots. So you leave yourself slightly exposed with body shots. Especially, Sam was trying to throw right into the body. They got caught with a left-hand counter. Jumah being a southpaw, it's a good single shot. If I'm Sam, I'm looking for that shot, bending to the right, looping it right over, or I'm looking for straight right hands, straight. Even body shots, I'm looking for like that. That jab to the body is going to work better than the short hook.
Keep on top of him. Keep on him, Sam. Keep on him.
Does there become a point within the fight, Steve, where they both sort of say to themselves, right, I've got to step it up here now?
Yeah, well, I think Sam might have said that at the start of the second, and Jumah's going to say it in the next round. Guaranteed the next round's going to be Jumah's best round. Because Gary Logan doesn't want to go into round, what will be the next round? Round 5.
Round 5.
He doesn't want to go into the second half of the fight trailing, or not just trailing, but with his fighter maybe feeling sorry for himself, with his fighter not in control, with the crowd over there becoming a bit restless, and sooner or later we're in round 8, and then Hyde might be 2 or 3 rounds up. Then he's got the momentum, the home straight, and the home crowd advantage for us. It matters, mate.
Of course it does, Steve. You know, you've only got to look at. I suppose this is a bad example, really, but Josh Warrington against Lee Selby at Elland Road.
Yeah. You know, it's that cliche, the 12th man. Well, that was more than the 12th man that night, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Not that he needed it down the stretch, because despite I think it was a split decision. I thought it was a comfortable Selby win. Comfortable Warrington win.
Yeah.
Comfortable. It was really competitive, but I didn't think it was that close. But boy, oh boy, he floated on that river of fans, didn't he?
Yeah. And I think the fans in here will work to Sam's advantage.
I'd like to think so.
As the fight goes on.
Absolutely, because this could have gone elsewhere, this fight, remember. You have to win a fight like this, you have to bid for a fight like this. You don't put fights like this on and take a financial risk and expect to lose. Let's get that right.
Yeah, of course.
That's why when big promoters suddenly send their so-called prospects overseas, they have lost the bid because they don't fancy the prospect. I don't want to give away too many secrets, but it's obvious sometimes, Or send them on the road, or let them go on a rival promoter's bill. Remember the big one, O'Hara Davis, Josh Taylor, just a couple of years ago?
Yeah.
O'Hara Davis was going to change the world according to Eddie Hearn. The next thing we know, he's fighting on a McGregor bill and he gets stopped, quits, walks away.
Yeah. Billy Joe against John Ryder was another one.
Bingo, baby, bingo. You know, he just fancied it. Although saying that was a tight fight in
It
the end.
was,
I
very
thought
tight.
Billy Joe won, don't get me wrong. Just like I thought Callum Smith beat John Ryder, but I thought John got hard served by the judges on in the Callum Smith fight.
Yeah.
I thought John got hard served. I thought he lost, but one or two of the judges
I
were a bit wide in my
I
opinion.
had Callum by 1 or 2.
Yeah, exactly. It was a tight fight.
But there wasn't 6 rounds in the fight.
No, was there, Eck? There's good pressure. He was catching him with good shots. And as I predicted, I was completely wrong. I thought the Jumah might come out and have a fast round, be mobile. No.
And he's done the exact opposite.
Absolutely. He's decided to sit on the ropes, play rope-a-dope in Withenshaw.
Rope-a-dope in Withenshaw.
Yeah, I might go in a moment. I've done my job is done here today.
There's your headline for your next column, Steve.
Yeah, shoot you. This was going to be my column in the Independent this week, but I've decided to write about Conor McGregor and the reality of his business if he ever if he wants to move in and fight proper boxers. He was a light heavyweight, you know, when he had that win last night.
Was he?
Yeah, 170. So that means he can fight Bivol or Peterbiev. You'd get arrested for even suggesting it, wouldn't you?
It doesn't even bear thinking about, does it?
I mean, you can't even talk about it, can you? Only in our business could we talk it, even mention it together.
He mentioned Pacquiao in the week as well.
Yeah, well, Pacquiao's jumped all over him. I think the suggestion is they might split about 60 or 70 or 80 million dollars.
Straight backhand again, son.
Mind you, there's 25, 26 pounds between them, so that might be a problem.
For that new Las Vegas Raiders
Yeah, exactly.
stadium.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that'll do outdoors, please.
60,000. Give us a few quid.
Oh no, I think worse ways. I mean, I'm not going to endorse Pacquiao against Conor McGregor, but it's that type of fight he's going to have, whether it's Floyd Mayweather coming out of retirement at 42 or whether it's Pacquiao at 41. But I've got to be honest with you, hand on heart, I don't think Conor McGregor would, as a boxer, would win the Irish middleweight, the Irish super middleweight, the English or the British super middle or middleweight. I don't think he would. He wouldn't beat Lerone Richards. He wouldn't touch Lerone Richards. Lerone Richards would dance around him and stop him in about 7. I mean that nicely. That's just the reality of where he is.
And let's have it right when he boxed Mayweather. As soon as Mayweather stepped on the gas.
It was the first Mayweather stoppage for 6 years.
Yeah.
The first one in 8 fights. Mayweather was rubbish. I was there ringside for that. Mayweather was rubbish for 5 or 6 rounds. Yeah. He hadn't trained, and he boxed really clever. He boxed really smart, McGregor. And then suddenly, a bit of pressure, it was all over. Good fun, though. Hey, listen, I had a week in Vegas, got paid.
Bet you did.
So what, we're in round 6 now?
Yeah.
Unlike tonight, this afternoon, I'm not getting paid. You owe me a cup of tea next time I see you.
Okay, I'll sort you a cup of tea out in a minute, Steve.
No, you're stuck here till 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock, I'll already be at Crew.
You'll be. Don't rub it
At
in.
all points south. What a way to spend a Sunday afternoon. Right, so Jumah's mobility is and will be a bit of a factor there. See that there? So he's leading straight up, then he's moving out to the right. Sam is working. If anything, it's not a criticism, it's an observation in straight lines, tram lines, so to speak. So Jumah going left and right, which would be what Gary Logan's telling him in the corner.
You've talked a lot about trams today, Steve.
Oh, shoot, yeah. That's only because it wasn't running earlier on.
Good sustained pressure here.
Yeah, I think he's okay, though. I think he knows where he is, Sam. He only took a couple of those. It looked worse than it was. That's a good shot. Sam, got to get back to doing what he was doing earlier on. He's got to get his left foot on Jumah's right foot. If he gets his right foot on it, the old southpaw trick, the orthodox trick, then he stops Jumah from moving.
Yeah, and it was working.
It was working, absolutely, yeah. That's a good shot, that behind the guard. I think that hurt Jumah then. But it's a good round for Jumah, this.
If there's one plus for Sam, it's that swelling over the right eye
hasn't got any worse. It may have even decreased slightly. That's what a good corner man's meant to do with an N12, remember. He's not just meant to be in a corner pouncing around, he's meant to be changing the course of the fight. That's a good shot, that. got Sam in front at this point?
Yeah, by 1 or 2.
Yeah, 1 or 2.
The atmosphere is good in here today, Steve.
Yeah, it's all right,
really good.
Yeah. Well, Jumah's come out of a coach load, and they're having a good time. They're on a day out of jolly, a Sunday jolly. They're on a bean out of Manchester.
Hoping that their man comes home with the belt.
Absolutely.
As it stands, though, for me, Sam's going to take the belt.
At the moment, he is, but we're not even at the halfway stage yet, are we? This is round 6, yeah.
6, I think, unless we've been talking too much.
Well, we've certainly been talking too much. Still might be round 6, though. That's a good shot. I know you know Sam better than me. Looking at me in the corner there, and we can't see much of him in the corner, but you saw him walk back. How did he look to you? It's been, last 3 rounds have been quite hard, haven't they?
He didn't look too flustered,
right.
And I think that's a plus.
Okay, and Jumah looks, he's breathing quite heavy, but he doesn't look flustered or marked, does he?
But we've said that from early on, haven't we?
Yeah.
And he's been breathing heavily from early doors. So,
that might, because he just might be sucking in. He might just be gulping it in, filling your tank like a deep sea diver does in underwater. The guys that the free divers do.
Yeah.
Before they dive, I'll just give you a quick lesson in free diving, because that's what I like to do when I'm with the shore on a foggy Sunday afternoon. Is what you got to do is you got to fill your lungs. Every single square centimetre of your lungs need to be filled. So you spend literally hours filling your lungs. That's what you might be doing. Move on, Foss. Take over. Round 7, son. It is round 7 now.
Round 7. I've got Sam a couple of heads, Steve.
Yep.
Deion, doing well, but I've got Sam just edging it at the moment, like I say.
What's the longest Deion's gone? Have a look at your computer. What's the most rounds he's gone?
He's only got.
What's the furthest distance he's gone?
Let's see.
It's amazing sometimes against the southpaw, a good jab followed by a straight right and get your foot over their foot.
Yeah.
It's just about as simple as it gets, about as basic as it gets. That's a good shot. That's a good shot. He said, but in all fairness, what's Jumah doing sitting on the ropes there? He must have something up his sleeve, or is he tiring?
He doesn't need to sit on
That's
those
what
ropes,
I'm saying.
Steve.
He's not trapped. He's stuck. He's choosing to be static on the ropes. And Sam's working here solidly.
The most he's done, Deion, is 6.
6, okay.
Yeah. So he's in uncharted territory.
Uncharted territory already now. He's never been here before, as they say in the big game.
His last 2 have been 5th round stoppages.
Okay. And, that old cliche, you can prepare for 12 in the gym. It's not like fighting 12. Doesn't matter what you do. Something happens. In a 12-round title fight, around this stage, 6 or 7, especially in a hard one, it's when a fighter finds out a few things about himself.
Sometimes it takes a good, deep, hard fight for fighters to come out and say,
win or lose.
This is what I've got to do now, yeah.
And that is the bottom. That's so true. Listen, fighters struggle through 10 rounds or struggle through 8 rounds, win or lose, it makes them. Just because a guy can go 12 rounds, if it's a 12-round shutout, he's learned nothing. It's been a piece of cake, to be perfectly honest with you. Sam might start asking a few questions as we go down the stretch here, and we might get some answers at ringside here.
Deion looks a little bit tired.
But then he pulls out 3 off. That's called the commentator's curse. The moment you said that, he pulled out 3 perfect shots. Sam needs to take no risk. Just keep it nice and basic and only open when he's got a chance. And Deion, I still think, needs to work, it's a cliche, use the angles a little bit more. Yeah. Go off to the right, go off to the left. Well, Deion's fans are still in fine voice.
In fine voice.
Yeah, they're in fine
To
voice.
the tune of the Beatles.
Yeah, they're at the back of the crowd there. Good house in here. They think about 800. Is that about right? 780, something like that.
Yeah, packed out.
And sold out, proper sold out. I mean, when I spoke to Joe, he went, Steve, hold on a minute, and he was on the phone. He went, can we squeeze one more in at ringside? And the woman said no. And then he said, oh, Steve, I'll get back to you. I think we can do it. And they did it, thankfully. And listen, it's, a sellout and a packed ringside. That's the reality of small hall boxing.
Yeah.
And if you've not got a sellout, and if you've not got a packed ringside with every seat taken, then you're doing something wrong, really, Foss, to be honest with you, mate.
Yeah, especially on a Sunday afternoon.
Absolutely, because you're talking with small hall promoters, it's tiny margins. So 11, 15, 17, 19, 20 empty seats at 25 quid or 30, that's a lot of money.
Of course.
That's part of your tiny margin, son.
Of course, yeah.
Near enough to pay you, that would be, in all fairness. And your fee, and your limo. Right, so we're in around 8. Slowest start so far, even slower than the first. That's a good shot. See, I would have had Deion picking single shots and using angles a bit earlier.
Is it maybe as though Deion took the round off, but sort of had a little bit of a rest in that 7th?
He might have had a bit of rest in the 7th, but then I thought he had a half decent 6.
Sam will be eager to get back on the front foot, though, won't he, Stephen?
Yeah, but the thing is,
sort of push the pace a little bit.
I don't want to see him just charging in, and sometimes you can get caught. You don't have to instantly retaliate. You only retaliate if there's an opportunity, if the man's in range. When you're caught with a long-range shot like that, any chasing you do is invariably going to end up with you being picked off once or twice. See, that's the Deion Jumah I thought we might have seen a bit earlier, loose, a bit more fluid. Sam might be having that round off you were talking about in this round, to be perfectly honest with you.
Oh.
He turned away and he hit him with 2 shots. There wasn't a lot in them, but they're still good shots. You get the feeling Sam's maybe conserving his energy a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Just picking his shots really well, isn't he?
There were a couple of rounds ago. It looked like Sam was going to breeze through them, but he's slowed down a little bit.
He has, hasn't he?
I don't know whether Joe may have told him in the corner to sort of pick those shots a little bit more.
Well, at the start of this round, remember, there were still 5 rounds left. Sam's got to be careful as he goes in, because Deion is letting those shots go now from the ropes.
Whereas before Deion was sitting on the rope and allowing Sam to attack.
They're good shots, and he's holding Deion. And he held.
Yeah. We're getting sprayed with all kinds here at ringside.
We are indeed, yeah. Good shots.
It's the closest.
Heavy shots.
It's the closest referee Phil Edwards has been to the action all day. This.
Yeah, I think he saw Deion here and then he saw Sam get caught over there. Hard fight, this.
Hard fight, but good fight.
It is, yeah.
Does the lack of action in the early months of the year frustrate you as a journalist?
No, not really, because when I started, and for the first 5 years, I covered pros, but I also covered a lot of amateur boxing, including a lot of junior boxing. And January's a terrible month for the junior championships, the schoolboys, so you're always busy. And the pros, there always seems to be something in January. Always seems to be, this is a particularly bad January. No disrespect to this show here, and 1 or 2 shows we're getting in America. But this is a particularly bad January. And in fact, February's not looking great. I mean, March is looking busy, and April, I'm hearing all sorts of things about April and May, but I'm a bit surprised how bad. I'm a bit surprised how slow January and February. So it doesn't necessarily frustrate me, but it's a bit can make the year really uneven,
Yeah. What are we now, round 9?
Round 9, I believe. Last August I was in July I was in, I'm not bragging or name dropping, but I was in June and July I was in America. September I was in America. And August I was in Russia for a week with Anthony Gower. What happened to the summer, bro?
Yeah.
You understand me?
Exactly. There's no break anymore,
No,
Steve.
there's no break. But except, I'll be absolutely straight with you. I was saying to my wife, who's away at the moment with my daughter, I was saying I could have actually taken January off as good as possible.
Yeah.
I could have had the month off. I could have gone out of the country for a month. I'd have missed a few things, but nothing serious. All I'm saying now, this is what I like anyway. This is my bread and butter. This here tonight.
Yeah.
Not that I'm getting any bread and butter, but you know what I'm saying. Those are good shots.
Good heavy shots as well.
He didn't need to be there then, Sam. He didn't leave himself stuck there.
It looks a little bit heavy-legged in this round, so.
Listen, it's been a grueling fight for about the second or the third. And they're both going where they've never been in hard fights before. Let's get that right.
The first two were pretty even, and then it sort of just took off.
When I said the two, you go either way or split them. It's whatever you want.
Come on, Sam!
I think Sam might even be sensible in this, the last third of the fight. He's got quite dark blood coming from his mouth, so he's obviously...
Fire it down, Sam! Keep it on him!
He's either damaged his lip or maybe it's a little bit more serious inside, but there's a lot of dark blood there. And his face is marked up, not just the eye.
The eye seems to have developed a little bit more swelling as well, which is a concern.
You can't you can't absolutely make a damaged eye invisible. You can just work on keeping it down.
Yeah.
What Jumah's done is what he's doing here. He's catching Sam with 5 and 6 shots on the ropes too often. Sam's not blocking enough of them. Enough of them are getting through. I think Sam's nose might be damaged as well. It looks very fat across the bridge. It's going to be a hard last 3 rounds. This.
Is this where a fighter finds out what they've got?
Absolutely. I mean,
in these hard rounds,
you can dream about what you've got. You can fantasize about what you've got. You can go through it in your mind as you sleep at night or as you don't sleep at night, and you can go through it in the gym and on the train or in the car back from the gym. But you don't know until the bell sounds for about round 10. When your eye's bad, when your lips are bleeding, when your nose is swollen, when you're maybe a round or 2 in front, but the other guy seems fresher. That's when you find out stuff you didn't know about. That's when you have to find out stuff that you hope's there. And we're getting close to that time now. I'm convinced of it.
Is that when a trainer finds out a lot about what their man's got as well?
And that's when the man finds out a lot about what his trainer's got. Because that's when his trainer has to, and it sounds crude, earn his money.
Yeah,
that's when his trainer needs to take over, come up with something. I just caught a little glimpse of Hank Pollard there, very concerned look on his face. Very concerned look. I thought his nose looked a bit swollen, and he looked suddenly heavy leg. That was, saying that Jumah doesn't look. Jumah's over there. He's looking down.
He's not making. He's
not making eye contact with Gary. You know what? Maybe Jumah's thinking, I've caught this guy with some really good shots,
and I can't break him.
And he's a bit bloodied, but he doesn't look like he's going. Looks like he's still there. Round 10, 3 to go. Still a long way to go, son.
I was hoping for a quieter round, but I don't think so.
I'm just wondering if I'm Jumah, maybe I'm not trying to do anything spectacular, except keep mobile, sling my jab out,
and win the round.
Not get too close and win the round, and get a breather doing it.
That right eye slowly closing now.
Yeah, well, you know why? It's that left. It's Jumah's left cross from the southpaw stance. That's the one that's crashing down on that side of the face. Yeah, Sam suddenly looks like he's been in
a hard fight.
9 full rounds, and is in the 10th round of a hard fight.
Whereas 3 or 4 rounds ago, Steve, Sam looked and probably felt the pressure.
That's when you remarked that the eye seemed to have been contained. Since then, the nose looks slightly damaged. You ever look at it across the bridge, it's quite swollen. Hey, it's the business they're in. He hasn't suddenly wandered in from another job and found out you get hit in the face, so let's not get too carried away. See, that would be Jumah's tactic. Slight distance, 2 shots. Don't even need to be big shots.
Yeah.
2 short shots like that. Suddenly putting together jabs.
Push him back to the rope.
Absolutely.
And then unleash.
But even then, only unleash if you know you can get away with it. Because he doesn't. Jumah right now, as this fight's about to turn, needs to take no risks whatsoever. Foss. Is him taking risks gives Sam more of a chance.
The opportunity.
You can hear the shout. Sam, you've got to work. Sam, you've got to work. You can see them. You can hear them, brother.
I was chatting with Joe Gallagher before the show started, Steve, and he said this is a hard fight for us. This
absolutely. Listen, it is a hard fight. He's got him every single advantage getting in at home, so he hasn't had to stay overnight in a hotel or travel down.
No, well, let's have it right. Sam's travelled from Sale at 11 o'clock this morning, maybe.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
You know, he's weighed in yesterday. He's had that
Absolutely.
opportunity to refuel.
You've got it. So Jumah's fighting in this round, a very sensible fight, mobile, fluid, and I don't even think he's letting his shots go fully. He's just touching at the moment.
Joe telling him to dig deep in the corner there, Steve.
Yeah, he is telling him to dig deep, but that's not necessarily to win the round. That's just to get through the round at the moment. And that's been the slight problem in this round. That was the easiest round Jumah's won, and it was the easiest round Sam's given away so far in the fight.
Could we see Jumah now push on?
No, you might do, but Gary Logan's a really controlled coach. He's not a coach that takes risks. So Gary Logan will not be in any urgency there. Gary Logan, I think, will think 2 more easy rounds and it's yours. If you get the opportunity, step on it, but don't go flat out.
Yeah, don't leave yourself open.
We've seen Jumah tired in this fight. We've seen him holding in this fight. We've seen him going back to the corner, feeling a bit sorry for himself in this fight. So why does he need to get himself in that position again?
Yeah.
He's had a really easy round there by movement, picking his shots, Foz. You've got to do what you're best at, son.
Exactly.
I don't sing. I don't do karaoke. I'm rubbish at it. You understand me? If there was a spoken karaoke style contest, I'd do it all day long. That's a good game. That'd be good, that. So instead of songs, you did famous speeches.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, mate, there's a karaoke game I've just invented. You're in.
Come on, Steve. Back to this. Round 11.
So I don't think Sam's got
much
lot
more,
of work in him.
much more left in the tank.
No. And he knows it's Sam. The fighters know it better than we do at ringside.
Is that why he's sort of stepped off it in the past few rounds? Is that why he sort of conserved his energy?
I think because he might be fancying a push at some point in this round or the last round, but.
Do you think he realised at around about round 6 or 7?
I think a bit later than that. It might have been about 8 or 9. Because right now this is not great, is it?
No. And Deion is on the front foot
and relaxing and letting shots go from different hands.
This is the thing, Steve. When fighters relax, the work flows.
Of course it does, because they're not tense. It's easier to do everything. No matter what you do, you try and make a cup of tea with your shoulders up tight. You can't do that. Yeah. You've got to relax, otherwise you can't do anything. You can't drive a car if your shoulders are up, can you?
Yeah, no.
Think about it, folks.
Yeah.
Deion's weighing up in his mind here.
Whether to go for it.
Should I go for it? Should I make it easy? There's probably 4 minutes left. What do I do? I know one thing, had it finished at the end of the 10th round, would Sam have nicked it? Would have been tight. Would have been tight. These would have been tight, mate. Who knows? Let's have a look at the end with the scores. Be quite interesting.
Those extra couple of rounds could just sway it into Deion's favour purely on the basis of Sam tiring.
Exactly, but equally, had it been a 10-round fight, we might have seen a different fight anyway. But so that always kills that argument. Had it been a 15-round fight, it would have ended differently. Yeah. You know, when you hear that argument. But Sam definitely knows he hasn't got the full ability or confidence to put his foot down. Nothing wrong with his heart or guts or bravery, is there?
No, but he knows he hasn't got it left in the tank to be able to push through now.
Absolutely.
And that's why we're seeing Deion sort of take over.
Yeah, he's taken over, but he's listen, Deion's still not absolutely convinced yet. Otherwise, he'd let all his hands go. You know it. Don't worry about that.
He's only got 2 of them, Steve.
No, he'd let them go so fast. See what he's doing there, Deion? That's what I said earlier. Those are not full punches. They're just little taps. Good right hand there behind the guard. Whoa! My gosh, he's got him. Referee's got him. Oh! That was close. Is that a bell then?
I thought, there was a bell, but I thought Phil Edwards had stepped in there, Steve.
He certainly got him a right hand that slumped him into the ropes. It wasn't enough to win the round, but it makes for a fantastic 180 seconds. You want to go and get me a cup of tea now? You don't, do you?
No,
see, I knew you were lying. I knew you were lying.
I'll go and get you a cuppa after.
I tell you what, mate, that was a fantastic end. It all starts with that. He dropped a right hand behind the guard. Stopped a right hand in behind the guard. He did it a few times earlier in the fight, and then he caught Deion again on the ropes with a right hand. So he comes out now, flat out, to meet Deion. He has to go for broke. Do we agree? He has to go for broke.
He does, yeah. Because with 3 minutes left in the fight, he's struggled.
Yeah.
Over the past couple of rounds, he struggled, and he struggled big.
He lost 5 minutes and 50 seconds of the last 2 rounds.
Yeah.
And he won 10.
Yeah.
But he won those 10 really well. Let's get that right.
So now it's about seeing what both of them have got left in those last 3 minutes.
Deion's not trying to survive either. Maybe he thinks he's got to make sure of it. That suits Deion there, close. Sam's not got the energy to throw him off there, get him away.
No. That uppercut was good though.
Good shots. Oh! Good right uppercut. He's holding on now, Deion. Those are good shots. You know what? He has gone as well. They're shouting behind me. Sam could pull this out, you know. One shot, he could pull it out.
The right hand's the shot.
Oh, and the right uppercut's not bad either. I tell you what, Deion Jumah didn't come to Manchester to give his title away, that's for sure.
Not at all. Not at all, and this has been a cracking scrap.
It's what you call a last round. Oh. I'm not sure we can survive this, Deion. He gets caught again.
Phil Edwards
will have to have a look. You can't lie on the ropes to get him with 6 shots and not throw a punch back.
It just doesn't work. Phil Edwards.
Deion's got to let his hands go to survive. Sam's got to let his hands go to win. And there's about a minute left, a minute and a half left. Fantastic last round here, Foz. Everybody standing, every single person standing.
This is what small old boxing's about, Steve.
You know what? Sometimes this is a privilege to be ringside.
It is. You hear the phrase.
Second wind, maybe. Every single one of Sam's ring mates are ringside urging him on. All of the Smiths, Scott, Quigg is it there. Cardell, Jonas, all up throwing punches, all willing him on. They know what to do. Just a case of whether Sam can do it. He's got to let his hands go. Deion Jumah's got to stop him from being caught. He's got to keep moving, Deion. What does your clock tell you, Foz? A minute?
A minute.
30 seconds?
45 seconds.
I think he's got through it, don't you? I think Jumah's got through it.
Only just.
Because Sam just has nothing left whatsoever.
But has Sam done enough over the course of the 12?
It's going to be tight. It's going to be real tight. I think Jumah might nick it by a round. I don't want to see a 7-round or 6-round difference here, that's for sure. Good right uppercut. It's the right hand. All Sam's got to do is let the right hand go. Tremendous heart and guts from both of them. Jumah in this round. Sam to get through rounds 9 and 10. What a terrific fight.
What a scrap.
Deion thinks he's done enough. Sam thinks he's done enough. I'm not sure that Gary Logan or Joe Gallagher were as confident as their two fighters. We're going to find out in a minute, son.
The two embrace in the middle of the ring there. Stamina's fans are the more jubilant at the moment, Steve.
So what we don't, this is what we don't want.
Yeah.
We don't want to see it wider than about 3 or 4, do we, or 4?
No.
We want to see it tight. We don't mind it if it's
we want to
unanimous,
see one or
but
two.
we want to see one or two.
Yeah,
Yeah, people forget that. Yeah, it can be unanimous as long as it's only 1 or 2. It doesn't have to be a split. A split doesn't mean it's closer.
Yeah.
Split just means one judge saw it one way. I want to see it. I'd like all 3 judges to score it the same way, to score it really tight.
Yeah.
Or within about 2 or 3 at the very most.
I think even 3's tight. Too loose, Steve.
Yeah, I do. 7-5. You're looking at a 7-5.
Yeah.
You're looking at a 6-6. What about the draw, son? Why don't you introduce the draw? Shh.
To 113. Steve Gray, 115 to 114. Mark Lyson, 115 to 113. All 3 scoring judges in favour of your winner. And still,
so, nothing wrong with the scores.
Nothing wrong with the scores.
That's proper judging.
All. But Sam will kick himself. Do you agree?
Yeah. That couple of rounds there, that round 10 and 11 when he just had nothing left in the tank.
Yeah.
Came back in the last. This crowd knows, that's a boxing crowd, they know what's going on, Foz. You know what though, Foz, I tell you what, mate, isn't it great to see a 12-round fight?
Scored so tightly.
Scored so tight. As you said, we wanted it to be 2. You said, quote unquote, 3's even too much. And you got your 2 all the way through and 1 with 1. That is proper scoring. All of them should be committed, and we give judges plenty of stick. Not that tonight. Am I off duty yet, son?
You're off duty now, Steve. Thank you very much.
Always a pleasure. Thanks, son. Top boy.